Welcome to everyone to the first online CEFEC conference on the last 34 years. My name is Vasi Gasiuk, and I'm the social first CEFEC General Secretary and your moderator from today. We have some rules because it's a test piloting also for us, so please, if you are not a speaker or if you don't speak on the next half an hour, please close down your video and mute your microphone. If you want to address questions for speakers, please type them on the chat function and we'll answer at the end of the session. The conference will also be streamed live on Facebook, so you can share the link among your peers. All the event will be recorded in order to have it after the conference is finished. I'm not alone here. I'm with my colleague Alina Bursan, which is the technical secretary of CEFEC. And thank you, Alina, to organize all these emails and invitations. On the right side, you don't see, but it's Yonuts, our technician, and on the back side is Daniel. So we are 4 people here to run this online event. Today, on this very critical time that our health and life is in danger, the often words we hear is solidarity. We have to be solidar on these days with our governments, which promote restriction and emergency measures, and we have to respect them. Solidarity with our family, that we have to communicate and stay with our children home. Solidarity with our neighbors, and supporting with minimum necessary food and medicine. Solidarity with our employee and adapt to work, and solidarity with the clients to keep our social business ongoing. One of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Chart of Fundamental Rights and basement of European Union is the solidarity. A social firm, it is constructed on solidarity to support employment and valorization of those with less opportunities, those which permanently are excluded from the society because of disability, mental health, poverty, migrant status, inmates, etc. We find today often in all EU countries these social firms, inclusive company, social enterprise, work integration social enterprise, social economy structures, or solidar economy. All are based on principle of social economy, a concept promoted permanently across Europe by our network Social Firms Europe CEFEC in the last 34 years. We intend to have a large, fabulous conference this year in Dortmund, and we want to say big thank you to impressive preparation of the last 4-6 months to the BAG inclusive firms from Germany, and in special to our colleagues Claudia and Klaus for the massive work done until the 2 weeks ago when we decided to cancel this event. It is a big pleasure and honor to host this event on Zoom from Romania, and not alone, but with our dearest president, which now is in Köln, Germany, founder member of CEFEC, and a person that never missed a conference since 1987. Miss Christiane Herlin, which is an excellent expert on occupational therapy and vocational rehabilitation, and has always been engaged in creating work opportunities for psychiatrically disabled in Germany, UK, Ukraine, and not only, in other parts of Europe and the world. Dear President, you have the floor.
And participants of the CEFEC conference, I welcome you under very different conditions as we had planned, as Vasily said. In my present irritation with Corona, and I might share this with many of you, The whistleblower Edward Snowden, who has been in quarantine in Moscow for the last 6 years, has helped me in our new situation with a very simple sentence. Wherever you are and in whichever place you are physically, this is where the virus can catch you. You are at the same time elsewhere virus-free, thanks to the internet. So physically, we are in Romania, Poland, Lithuania, Finland, Sweden. We are in UK, Greece, Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, the Czech Republic, and even in Japan, and perhaps in other countries. And at the same time, we are elsewhere, namely here on this platform all together. I'm grateful to Vasil and his team to make this happen today. And I'm also very grateful to Claudia Rustiger and Klaus Meyer from the German umbrella BAG of Inclusive Firms, who worked endlessly to make the Dortmund conference happen. Well, you cannot imagine how I was especially looking forward to the fair and its exhibition of products and services for the German social firms. Sadly, we have to do without it and instead try to catch your interest for the topics of our workshop speakers. Perhaps we can apply in this situation what so many of our disabled and disadvantaged persons have to do when they are coping with depression and crisis. And indeed, two things can help. First, it's known that in crisis you are creative out of necessity. And look, we are creative today. Brilliant idea to go on your balcony and make music as the Italians started. Well, the second point is more long-lasting help, it's work. And indeed, preparing for this conference was a kind of work therapy for me. You have a visible structure, a demand from society, and this creates communication instead of anxiety and gives meaning to your doings. As we all know, to create fair and paid work and give disabled and disadvantaged persons a realistic role in society has always been the motor for CEFEC. So let's look into today's program, and there are three core topics. The first is focus on green and social business, perhaps our future. See Daniel from Germany in a minute, Richard from England, and Roland from Switzerland. The second concern is to look at success factors at the workplace. See and listen to Bob Grove from England and Felicitas from Italy, including the perspective of immigrants in social firms. The third key aspect is to strengthen our European network, especially with European partners who cater for work. See and listen to Umberto, Asta, Patricia, Admute, and our CEFEC founding member, Dia Athena Frangouli from Greece. At the end of the conference, I shall ask you, please send us feedback, which we include to our conference report. And now, enjoy your time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christiane. It's very nice to see that we are 38 right now on the Zoom meeting, as you mentioned already, from many countries. And of course, we will play with time to keep it tight, as agenda is. But if we exceed from the time, will not be a problem. I'm not going very far than to celebrate now. Every year we have an award, CEFEC award. This year we had a competition again, and because it was so good prepared, the award and also the conference, we have a winner. The winner is from Germany, and we have the award, which will show it to you in one moment. I will ask your notes. So this is the award certificate, and of course we have Daniel with us, which will do a very short presentation about his fabulous business. Daniel, can you hear us?
Is he around, Daniel? Daniel was here.
Yes, he is, but we have to, okay. Daniel?
I would just say a minute before
Hello,
it appears.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's President to say something before.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was muted for some minutes. So if you can hear me now, everything is great. Yes. Hello from Germany, from Ettlingen near Karlsruhe. Hello to everybody. Nice congratulations for this online conference that we can meet via internet. For the award, it's a great honor for us to win this award. It makes us really, really happy. It's a great pleasure, and it motivates us really to do even more for people with disabilities, to create even more jobs for people with handicap. I have to say thank you to the jury, but also to all our employees, which make every day their contribution to the success of our company. So thank you to everyone. We are really feeling very, very happy since we know that we win this award. Today,
Daniel, I'm just saying, Daniel, thank you very much. And I'm just saying why we awarded you, you know. We are 5 on the jury, and we awarded you because you have a European-wide net already. You have a high ratio of disabled employees and pay a fair wage. You cater for green economy, and you have given us facts and figures which convinced us. And officially, the award will be given at the BAG annual conference in Dresden in June, if it hopefully takes place. And this is, thanks to Corona, a first appraisal today, and we are happy to do it.
Yes, we're really happy to get the award today, and hope that we see us in June on the big conference.
Yes, Daniel, if you want to say something more, or your presentation anyway will be shared to our participants, because we are a little bit behind of time, and I hope it's fine that, yes?
Yes, shall I show you some slides? Is this okay?
Yeah. You can be very quick, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perhaps you already see it?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, okay. So just 3 or 4 minutes, some sentences to our company. You see here our mission is to people with and without disabilities work together in our company and make really high quality services and products which are very important for big companies. You see here some time steps. We celebrated our 15 years anniversary last year. As you said, we are in 5 countries at the moment. Started in Germany in 2004. You can see here in this slide our process, starting by collecting no longer needed IT hardware at companies, governmental government institutions, collecting with own trucks, testing the equipment, make a high-level data erasure or data destruction, repair the notebooks and PCs, make new software on it, cleaning the products, and selling the hardware to private persons or to schools, for example. So to give used hardware, as you can say, a second life. Hardware which you can't use anymore, which is too old, goes via dismantling to recycling, and so that we can win a new resources in Europe. Here also some facts. You see at the moment we have locations not only in Germany but in France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovakia. About 20 locations at the moment. We have many space for a high number of computers. The next slides, you see some pictures of our employees, of our trucks, of our stock, of the data erasure here, of repairing, refurbishing the IT hardware. One colleague from Berlin, our team in Ettlingen, our store. So we have also stores. They are closed at the moment in Germany, but I hope they will open in the next month again. So our team in Berlin here, some part of our team in Paderborn. Here many interesting facts as we handled about almost 500,000 IT devices last year and had about 440 employees and about 45% of them people with disabilities. And of course, many ecological safes we had in the last year. Our partners like Siemens and so on get a certificate about creating jobs for people with disabilities and about saving CO2 equivalents and so on. So that's a very good CSR topic for big companies in Europe. Some statements here you can see from the former CIO of Siemens or head of CSR at Telefonica in Germany. So we do many communications with our partners together. As you can here see, we have many big partners, big players who need our services. If you want to get in contact with me after this presentations, you can see here my phone number, my email address, and the homepage. So I hope to give you some facts and figures now, and wish you much joy for the rest of the conference now. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much for your intervention and your presentation. I'm sure we will keep in touch with you because you have a very nice model that can be spread across Europe, and we want to do this. And I hope you will become a member of CEFEC, that this is the mission now, because this prize and this award has some obligation behind too.
Of course, I think there are many things we can do together in the future.
Thank you very much. I want to go further because we are just 4 minutes behind, but it's good because we can recover during our conference. Anyway, it's better that we could be on live. I want to do the next speaker. It's one of our very close, not just friend, but also colleague. Felicitas Cresimon, President of 2001 Agenzia Sociale from Trieste, Italy, Associated Professor of the Australian University from Berlin, with huge experience on vocational rehabilitation and working with Lega Coop Sociale, Hospital of Franco Basile and Trieste. Since last year, she's our development manager within Social Sector of CEFEC. Please.
Hello to everyone. I think you see me.
Yeah.
And yes, okay. So yes, I'm very happy. First of all, hello to everyone. I'm very happy that we can meet in this way, even if I would have been more content to be at Cologne and also visit my family and at Dortmund to see all of you, but it's great that we can see in this way. So as Vasi said, I'm living in Italy, so I think my intervention, if I did it 1 month ago, it would have been a little bit different as now, because a lot of things happened as for every one of us, and we just talked about Corona. So I would like to start to say in Italy, many people are thinking about what will happen after this period with Corona, okay? A lot of voices which say we don't want to go back to the same lifestyle we had before. We had 1 month before. Let's use this moment we are living for create another future. So I'm convinced that organizations as CEFEC or also other European networks, which are also with us connected now, like REVS or ANC, that we, for the activities we are carrying out, we already indicated a way for the future. Okay, I think we anticipate, and we have doing this since a lot of time now. So maybe for us it seems normal to think about how to create social inclusion, deal with vulnerable people, create concrete tools for training and construction of professional contexts that respect the ethical principles of humanity, justice, right of access to resources for everyone. But it's not so normal, and now we see it, maybe because we are a little bit more looking inside us and our society. The system of capitalism follow other logics. So maybe someone could say ours is an utopical approach, but I'm convinced it is not an utopia, but it is a choice that everyone and our organizations do day by day. So the data about social cooperatives in Italy of the financial crisis, starting from the financial crisis from 2008, show that the approach of social economy and social enterprises, such as cooperatives here in Italy, is an approach which is much more sustainable as a mere capitalism approach. It's an approach which is characterized by high economic and social sustainability, even in the long term. Last night, Christiane, at home in quarantine, I watched the film Snowden, a clear example of how it is up to us to choose where we want to be. If we use our tools to dominate, control, and accumulate richness in a few hands, or if we want to collaborate and on a way to do that creates cohesion, justice, and freedom for all beings, regardless of their diversity. That's a work also CEFEC is doing since 34 years. So the social enterprise model has expanded in recent years. So who didn't see from you, it's very interesting, the report about social enterprise and the ecosystem in Europe, which is has been published by the European Commission in January 2020. You find it also on the Facebook side of CEFEC, which confirms this capacity of social enterprise approach to be sustainable, growing, and that there is really a need in some way in our society to have a change about approach. So social cooperatives are characterized, and that's their strengths, which should be my topic. They represent a system of democratic and inclusive governance, which promotes forms of critical thinking and the ability to analyze and respond to needs which can be extended from the individual to the collective sphere. The second very important characterism is the investment of profit in common objectives. The economic profit is second to the social function and profit. And the third characteristic is the connection between the territory and the community of belonging. And social cooperative as an organizational form of mutuality and social cohesion. We have been living here in Italy right now for 4 weeks with day by day more restrictions, but it's also a moment of reflection, a moment in which new forms of solidarity appear. Someone mentioned singing on balconies, but it's one nice form, but there are a lot of other forms in our small surroundings, in our territories. So I really believe that organizations like CEFEC can and must be subjects able to multiply and give strength and a collective form to another form of economy, justice, and solidarity, not only on the individual level. Otherwise, we risk to go simply back to our normal life sooner or later. What I want to say is everyone single of us may be more have more solidarity, but if we don't give a structure to this, if we don't collect these inputs, and if we don't try to organize it, we risk to go back and to spread this energy which is now coming up. So one of the examples where we could invest is, for example, the migration topics. CEFEC started 2 years ago to work closer to it. Now in this moment in Italy, but maybe also in the other European countries, we don't talk so much about it, but this doesn't mean that the problem not exists. It exists, and we have to take responsibility in a large sense to all these topics, to continue to promote as organizations this form of social economy and social enterprise. So CEFEC, because these are forms that allow to give concrete tools for the inclusion of all people from different vulnerable groups. Okay. 2 words to what did CEFEC, and we could do much more, I think, to the migrant topic in this last 2 years. We did activities of awareness arising between CEFEC members. We are participating on several projects on European level, like SMILES project or ARMI projects. We have started, and Umberto will tell us something more about this, also to open our borders. And yeah, I have finished 2 census, and to work in also over the European borders. And yes, we applied to participate in the EU Migration Forum. So let's take this as an opportunity to, okay, I heard Christiane talking. I didn't know if she wanted to tell me that my time finished, but okay. Hello. So yeah, I think really it's a very important opportunity we have. And even if we are suffering from the restrictions and we don't know how much time it will be in this situation, but really let's be aware about what we are doing, and that it is very important to give voice to it in every context, to support every opportunity to growing up this movement.
Thank you very much, Felicitas. It was, I think all the speeches till now has full of emotions because of the situation right now, and it's normal to be this because we are human beings. In the meantime, I expect Professor Lorenzo Torresini will be with us, but he just phoned us that he will be in a few minutes because he restarted his computer. I want to give the floor to Christiane to make the next introduction to one of our good model and our member of executive board, Roland Roth. So please, Christiane.
Yeah, I'm happy to introduce Roland Roth and his social firm Öko-Service in Zurich. You are a CEFEC board member for Switzerland, and some years ago you received the CEFEC award. You are one of our Hoffnungsträger, we say in German, and in English it's called White Hope for the future, leading the way for more social firms in the field of green business. Now you have the word, Roland.
Okay, thank you very much. White Hope, I heard for the first time. So there's a black hope or red hope? White hope, is it?
It's
okay.
White Hope.
White.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have a presentation somewhere. Let's see where I find it. Here. Yeah, yes. You got it. Yeah? You see it?
No. You just have to go to the screen. Share the screen with us.
Where I have to go?
Share the screen with us.
I thought now it should be. It's not.
So go down.
Yeah, where down? How much?
And share the screen. It's a green button down.
Share the screen. What the hell?
If you want, we can share with you the presentation and you can speak. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, you have the presentation?
Of course.
Of course,
yeah.
I send it. But it's very hard. I expected I have it, but I don't have it. It's a short presentation, but...
Here.
Here it is. Please speak now.
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eco-Service is in Switzerland, and we are an example how to mix green and social business. So in fact, they are green, they're social, and it's business. So there are 3 goals, and we have this elephant on the ball to show it's quite hard to follow 3 goals and 3 bottom lines to keep in touch with them, and sometimes with one leg you go down and with the other leg it's like an elephant. You see the picture?
Yes.
You see
Yes.
it? Okay. So it's what we are doing. We are offering workplaces for people without or with handicap, apprenticeship, vocational training for people with handicap. These are about 30, 35, and apprenticeship another 30. So in total, we are about 100 people, I think, 110. And the areas we are working is maintenance, cleaning, gardening, bicycle, sales and repair, that's new, and customer administration. That means jobs in the office. And the important thing now is all these services have been certificated with CO2 neutral. As we heard from the winner, he had this certificate as well. And this is the thing what we think everybody could take something out of it. To see in our company, we produce about 48 tons, and we pay compensation for this CO2, and that's about, I don't know, approximately €1,000 a year. It's not a big amount, but anyhow, it helps with the forest. And the thing is now, what we are measuring the carbon footprint. You see, commuting, business travel, heating, waste, all these things we can measure and make an equivalent to the CO2. And now all the 40 tons, you see, the most of it is commuting. That means traveling to the business. And business travel is a little bit less, and so on. And in this direction, we combine these ecological with social aspects, with the jobs of the people, and do it with as minimum as possible of the CO2. For us, it helps to get orders. Green economy helps to get orders for the employment of people with and without handicap. It helps, so it's marketing, but not only, it's a real fact that we produce very little of CO2. That's the short presentation, and the proposal as at the end, I think we could do somehow of an overview of existing these alternatives in the so-called eco-market, and asking all the members of CEFEC. That's my proposal. Thank you much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Roland. And of course, your model, it's so nice presented on live, but I also visited during the conference in Olpen, when Switzerland, it was our capital for social economy. We visited and we see live exactly what we do. And I think we will do on the future on a webinar how during this coronavirus pandemic, your cleaning services, it's so well asked by the clients, because these cleaning services are very, very important. But this is another topic for the webinar. So thank you very much, Roland, for your interview.
I have to thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm moving to the same field, green businesses, and I want to introduce to you Richard Mehmet, a creator of Recycling Route Community in UK. Very practical model of social enterprise to support employment of vulnerable people in UK, and ready to transfer the model across Europe. Our Social Funds Europe CEFEC specialist on startup social green enterprise, Richard McMahon.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be involved in this lovely event, and hello to all my friends and everybody else who my colleagues and who I work with at CEFEC. And if you've heard me speak before, I'm happy that you fall asleep or you go and make yourself a cup of tea. That's not a problem, and I will try to speak within my time, I promise you. So I'm just going to get some of my slides up. Cool.
Now you have to do slideshow only.
Slideshow, yep.
Yeah. That's it.
Is that okay? Have I got this right?
Just push again the slideshow. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, well, hello everybody. So pleased to be here. I'm Richard Mehmed. Hello, hi, good afternoon. I'm the founder and the managing director of Community Wood Recycling. We are a network of social enterprises and we work in the environment sector. Hopefully we're doing a little bit to build a more sustainable society. We think we are very green and very social too. One of the great things for me is that we work with waste, doing something useful with what other businesses actually throw away. We have developed a business model, a not-for-profit business model that can make a real contribution to what we call the circular economy. I'm sure you are familiar with that. So we are saving resources, we're dealing with wood, we're doing something useful with wood, and we are reducing carbon, so very much environmental. But at the same time, we are changing the lives of disadvantaged people. So we're being useful environmentally and socially too. So let's give you some detail. Again, the great thing about our enterprise, I think, is that it is easy to start. We provide a wood waste collection service. Starting the business, you don't need a big factory, you don't need lots of equipment, and you don't need a lot of money to start a community wood recycling enterprise. It's very easy to do. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You don't need a lot of technical help. You don't need highly skilled people. You don't need doctors. You don't need professors. Just some willing working class people is all you need to make a difference. Another thing that's very important in the social enterprise sector is that our model, our business model, is financially self-supporting. So it just needs some money to launch, and then when you have it launched, it is completely able to grow and support itself from the income you get from your customers. So what I really like about it is it's a very accessible model. It can work everywhere. Now, we work all over the UK, and I've seen wood waste in many countries in Europe. I've seen wood waste in Germany, I've seen wood waste in Switzerland, I've seen wood waste in Poland, in France, all over the place. So I'm excited by the prospect that maybe our model can work in your country too, maybe in most European countries. So let's get some more of the basics. We were set up in 1998, so the model is certainly long lasting. It's been financially supporting for all this time, for 22 years, and now it's a nationwide social franchise, working in the East, working in the West, working in the south, working in the north. There you are, that's a map of where we're working in the UK. So whatever city you go to, it seems that the circumstances for waste are the same. And so our model can work easily in these places, in every place that we go. So how does the model work? Great, very simple. So in this country, and I know many places in Europe are the same, we put our rubbish in one of these things, one of these skips, Mulder, I think you call them in Germany. Everything, all our rubbish, if we're a big business or a small business or a building site, all our rubbish goes in a skip and we throw it away. But we have developed a different way of working. We provide a collection service. So rather than having to get a big skip, we can go and collect. And even our collection methodology is better for the environment because we collect more waste in a smaller vehicle that has a smaller engine, so it uses less pollution and makes less pollution and uses less fuel compared with this big skip lorry. So even the methodology can save carbon. We collect mostly from the building industry because they have so much wood waste, always generating wood waste on a building site, and this is the same wherever you go around the world. We collect all the wood waste and then we take it back to our premises. So this is one of our premises around the country. It's our premises in Bristol, and I wanted to show you because I really like this big saw. I think that's really fun. But we have similar premises all around the country where we take the waste back, and anything that's reusable, we sell back for DIY. I'm sure you all know what DIY means, building work. We try to make our premises like shops because we want people to come and buy from us. So this will show you what we can do with our wood. And this is how we display it. We are just a shop that sells all sorts of wood for all sorts of building projects, really. Now, I like this picture because it really shows you the quality of the wood that we collect. It's not just small, broken pieces of wood that are thrown away. All the wood you see on this slide has been collected from a building site, and it was waste. I mean, why is this waste? This is a beautiful resource that we want to reuse and not to see it just end up in a skip and taken to landfill or just burnt. This shows you more of the kind of things that we collect. To me, this looks like new wood, but it's not. It's all waste that we've collected. Again, we collect lots of hardwoods. So it's a really big range of quality wood that we find in the waste stream. Now, what we can't use for DIY, what we can't sell to the public, we make into products. And we make everything from bird boxes and planters for the garden, right the way through to quite high quality furniture. We do things for shops, and these are very lucrative because they don't mind paying a good price. And this is becoming very trendy to have your shop fit out in lovely recycled wood. So you can make a good bit of profit from this sort of activity. What we can't use for our products or for DIY, we sell for firewood. And in the winter, we sell thousands and thousands of bags of clean, dry firewood that generates income for us and makes sure that people don't use wet wood or coal in their fireplaces. So it's even more sustainable. Now, all these activities to do something useful with wood waste, they are very labor intensive. So we have the opportunity of creating work, creating jobs, and jobs for people who really need them. So the collections are very labour intensive and create opportunities. The retail of timber to the public is very labour intensive and creates opportunities. And making products is very labour intensive and creates lots of opportunities. And the people we're trying to help are those marginalised people, people who have come from prison, people coming through drug and alcohol problems, people with mental health challenges or learning difficulties, and many, many more. So by working to help the environment, we can hopefully create opportunities that are really life-changing too. So are we having any real impact? Well, last year we collected 23,000 tonnes of wood. We created 238 jobs, and we trained 850 people. So even our network of small enterprises, we think, is having a really good impact on the waste stream. Now, what really excites me, and I'm sure my colleagues on the CEFEC committee know all about that, is that we want to see our model spread across Europe. And we think there's a big opportunity because there are tens of millions of tonnes of wood waste all over Europe that could be dealt with. Everybody loves buying recycled wood. Everybody loves to work with recycled wood. So we know that wherever you are, people will come and buy your wood. We have a very strong model to follow. After 21 years of doing this, we've made all the mistakes that you can make. So we're ready to help people. And of course, as I've said, it's very cheap and easy to set this up. So we're very keen to help anybody who wants to set up this model throughout Europe. So just summing up now, I've finished. Work with us to set up these enterprises, and then you can really make a contribution to saving resources. You can reduce carbon and make your contribution to slowing climate change. And by doing that, you can really help to change the lives of some very disadvantaged people. So please get in touch if it's something you feel that you're interested in. Thank you very much, everybody. Lovely to talk to you, lovely to take part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard, for the nice presentation. And even I saw it, part of it, several times. I'm still very, I'll say, enthusiasm, because you have new figures and you always demonstrate that this kind of business can work all over Europe. We're gonna meet you also on the summer conference. We'll organize a CEFEC Academy on the summer. So
excellent.
We already discussed that you will one of the trainer on the academy. Thank you again.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Richard, that you survived Brexit and Corona, and I give you a double good wish for that.
Thank you. I've survived so far, but I have got a little cough. And maybe
No
I can go to
Corona.
bed now.
Thank you very much, Christiane, for intervention. And now we have one of our pioneers on Social Firms Europe, CEFEC, Dr. Bob Grove, which is not possible to be with us live on Zoom meeting, but we record him 2 days ago, and we had a very nice message for you. I will ask your notes to work on put the film, but just to inform you that we are 60 people right now, 40 on Zoom and all close 20 on Facebook. Thank you to everybody for attending.
I'm very happy that we found this way to communicate and meet on this level. And I'm happy to introduce Professor Bob Grove, one of our CEFEC best friends and founding members. And indeed, Bob, you helped us to define for all of us in Europe what social firms really are. Currently, You are Senior Policy Advisor of Mental Health Europe and have had important functions in the English health system and beyond in Europe, and specializing on new thinking about mental health and employment. And this is the title of your book. Perhaps I can show this for a minute, which I always recommend. I run seminars and each time I quote from this book. So you are really very much up to date, and I would like to give the floor to you for whatever you have to tell us.
Okay, thank you, Christiane. I've chosen as my topic mental health at work, which applies not only to social firms but to all employers. It's very important for many, many reasons. I won't go into all the data on lost productivity and lost income and this kind of thing, because I think probably people are aware of how costly poor mental health at work is. But what I want to do is to really focus on what I think are the things that matter, that promote good mental health, and of course good productivity, because a mentally healthy workforce is a productive workforce. Firstly, that mental health at work is not about building individual resilience. It's not about the individual at all, really. It's about creating healthy working relationships, teamwork, and culture. And it's that I want to emphasize and which I want to speak about. What are the things that we can do to make sure that our workplaces are healthy and workplaces in which everyone can work? A very wise friend of mine once said, in the right circumstances, almost anyone can work, and in the wrong ones, almost nobody can. It's not about individuals, it's about the culture, it's about the relationships. The manager is the key to a mentally healthy workplace. Now, of course, a manager cannot operate by himself. The manager has to have support from all levels of the organization. But actually, the manager's attitude, the manager's skills are the most significant factor in creating a mentally healthy workplace. And what is surprising to me is how little training people have for managing the relationships in the workplace, because that is the most important aspect of being a manager. And most people come to it learning on the job without any kind of training at all. What are the things that make a good manager? Well, firstly, obviously, a manager has to be fair. A manager has to some degree to be flexible. I'll come to things about flexibility in a minute, but it's very important that the manager recognizes that every individual, not just disabled individuals, needs sometimes flexibility at work in order to produce their best. A manager needs to be clear about what is expected. He needs to make sure that people understand what their jobs are. And he needs to be able to give regular feedback, one way and another, at how people are doing. Many people find the whole business of being appraised very anxiety prone, but a skilled manager will make a regular appraisal or review meetings into occasions when achievement is celebrated and learning and teamwork are valued, not just individual success. But moving on, because the other role of a manager, and perhaps the one that they find most difficult, is how to manage, how to talk to people who are obviously struggling in the workplace. Often it is the manager who will be the first person who recognizes that someone is in difficulties, that their mental health is compromised, that they are perhaps not even for reasons of work, maybe mostly because it's happening outside work, but one way and another, their mental health is impacting badly on their performance. How do you start the conversation? How do you recognize the signs? How do you actually say to someone, look, I think we need to talk about this? I won't go into the detail here, but there are very, very good training schemes. And personally, I think all managers should go on training schemes on how to have those conversations with employees once they are recognizing that the employee is in some difficulties. There are very good programs around. One of them that perhaps has most global reach, certainly in the English-speaking world, is called Mental Health First Aid, which is very, very good. But there are many others. And I think that training in managing difficult conversations, emotionally charged conversations, is extremely important. On that same subject, I've talked about flexibility. And on the slide, it says, consider reasonable adjustments for employees who are experiencing longer-term mental health problems. Personally, I think all employees sometimes need reasonable adjustments. Most of the things that constitute reasonable adjustments are very low cost. They are adjustments to time, adjustments to workload, perhaps even place of work. We're now becoming much more used to enabling people to work from home. These really cost very little and can often make all the difference to someone who is themselves struggling with their mental health. And as I say, it's not something which one should necessarily confine to people with long-term problems. So managers are key, but of course a manager doesn't operate in isolation. Whole organizations need to take seriously the mental health of all their staff and support managers in the kind of things that I've been talking about. Firstly, and you'll see this in the first of the speech bubbles in the top left, make organizational commitment to mental health at work and encourage senior executives to speak up and champion positive mental health. There is nothing that is so heartening and so opening to a workplace culture as having the senior people, the chairman of the board of directors, the organizational director, speaking up and talking about how they have a commitment to positive mental health. A number of organizations in the National Health Service in the UK have chief executives who have themselves experienced severe mental health problems. And they are very open about it. And that in itself creates a very open culture, a very positive, a very accepting culture. I'm now going to just move on beyond this slide to just a few summary points, really. Just the headlines. Reward is crucial. We may think that that mainly is salary, and of course salary is important. But it's also crucial that people feel rewarded for their efforts, feel rewarded for their learning, and feel rewarded for their teamwork. I've talked about looking at the workplace culture, communication, leadership, clarity. All of these can help employees. But the last thing I want to say really in this slide is to pay attention to interpersonal relationships. Workplace relationships are the key to good mental health. And it is that which needs to be hammered home to everyone in the workplace, not just managers. So that's the infographic, how to support a mentally healthy workplace. There are other things on the website in Mental Health Europe which give some of the evidence that supports this infographic. But this in itself is something which I think could well be in every workplace because it's easy to read, it's colourful, and it has, I think, as much sensible advice as anyone needs. So, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to Christiane first, because she really worked close with Bob Grove, and she prepared that this speech that Bob Grove will deliver live on Dortmund. Anyway, this is the unique feature of social economy, that we got creativity, and you can observe how we combine the technology. Talking with you right now, then insert films, PowerPoint, and all these opportunities nowadays, we should use it more. Now let's go further. We are not that much behind, I think just 5 minutes. And I have to tell you, apologize from Asta Jasauliene from ZIP Lithuania, our colleague from Lithuania, that she's not with us today. She has some personal problems, to present win-win potential for CEPAL project. But before that, I want to say thank you to your NUTS, our technicians, which is part of the CEPAL project. And also thank you to Alina, because she takes immediately the role to replace Asta and present you about this wonderful project that 5 of our members are part of it. Besides the promoting employment, the social enterprise is a great potential for learning. Learning on the job and learning by doing. Please, Alina.
Okay. Hello to everybody. Thank you that you are taking part in our online event. So I will just make a short presentation that Asta sent me with her words, and it's like 5 minutes, so it won't take long. Okay. Hello to everybody. My name is Asta and I'm from Lithuania, representing the NGO Human Resources Monitoring and Development Bureau, partner in the CEPAL project. I'm so sorry that I can't participate today with you, but anyway, you are always with me in my heart. So we are partners in the Supporting Employment Platform through Apprenticeship Learning CEPAL project, which is a project financed through the EEA grant, Norway Grants Fund for Youth Employment, with a total grant amount of over 1,400,000 euros. We are partners from 5 countries, 5 European countries, from Romania, Lithuania, Poland, Greece, and Spain. The main activities of our project consist of developing the CEPAL methodological approach, including the work integration, social enterprise, and local stakeholders mobility concepts, capacity building and human resources development to support this concept implementation, piloting the apprenticeship program for young people that are not in employment, education, or training using the WISE concept, and of course, on-the-job training in the private sector with the help of our local stakeholders, and in the end, developing a model of intervention to improve employment situation of needs based on the pilot project implemented previously. So we can say that the main reason why CEPAL project is working consists in the good collaboration between the project partners and the stakeholders. There are many reasons why collaboration is so important, but the main ones are helps us to solve problems, brings people closer together, helps people learn from each other, opens up new channels for communication, boosts morale across our organizations, leads to higher retention rates, and makes us more efficient workers. As you can see, I can't imagine our common work without collaboration. So thank you for your attention and wishing you all the strong health in this very hard period. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. I just want to mention that Asta is from Lithuania and it is one of our board members. So thank you, Asta, if you hear us online for your intervention. Alina Bursan is our technical secretary from Romania in the position from 2012 and ready to support all of you, those interested for cooperation and networking. It's a coordination of training program with big expertise running Erasmus project and that project financed by European Social Fund, Vocational Education Training Project, and EE grants, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, Youth for Employment grant. Now let's go to our agenda back. I think Alina saved a little bit from time. This is really good when we have a good collaborators and very close. So I will introduce you Umberto Carescia. Besides that, he's a great singer. He's the initiator of many projects for social inclusion of migrants within Circle Association and Città Azzurra Social Cooperative. He's our ambassador, we call him in Africa. And we are trying to develop social enterprise locally there to prevent migration and poverty. Umberto is working very close with Felicitas. And now, Umberto, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm very glad again to be with you. First of all, thanks to Alina, to Vasi, to Christiane, and to Klaus for organizing this wonderful meeting, even if we are closed and we are in prison in Italy. But I'm so happy to see you and to speak with you. Today, I have a difficult job because I have to explain you what the development cooperation means and the reason why I'm very interested and we probably are very interested in facing this new sector. I wanted to start very shortly by specifying what development cooperation is. Development cooperation mainly means to realize structural projects, to realize buildings, microcredit programs, agriculture, researchers, and so on. In what in the 16th, 17th, and 80s were called third world countries. Cooperation is in those years also meant sending volunteers to the most remote areas of the planet to work as engineers, doctors, agronomists, and so on. Today, and with the development of many of those countries that were called third world countries, but also thanks to the development of information and communication systems, these countries have become closer and closer, and we have got to know them better. Thanks to this closeness, they too have begun to understand our world, and we have begun to understand theirs better, and we have to begin to work in another way. That is, we began to collaborate and to change the paradigm that saw a donor on one side and a beneficiary in favor of an equal relationship. So there's no more donor and beneficiary, but we work on the same level. And these are not only words, but is the fact. Without valid partners, projects do not start, do not work, and are not able to sustain themselves over time. So we come to the importance of exchanging best practices and involving more and more countries around the world in those winning and successful processes. We all agreed that cooperatives and the cooperative system works in a mainly case in a very good way, is very successful. CEFEC is a movement, the most important organization in Europe representing cooperatives, and we have been rewarding excellence in Europe for years. See today, for example, ALF, Social and Green IT Germany, for example. Very, very good. I'm so proud that you are in now. It is therefore our duty and CEFEC's duty to support the worldwide development of cooperatives, because cooperatives protect more than anything else the weaker groups, people in difficulty, the disabled. I have just returned from a long trip to Africa now to monitor all our projects, and I can swear to you that disability, the weakest are the weakest in all the world, especially in Africa, So at the end of January, we presented a project in Tanzania, in Arusha, under the Kilimanjaro, to set up a cooperative for Maasai widows who, when they lose their husbands, are thrown out of the community with all their children. A drama. Only through training and the establishment of a cooperative, we will be able to protect these women who will dedicate themselves to the textile production of clothes and other things. A CEFEC delegation, listen to me now, of 5 people will go to Tanzania in 2021 to monitor the project, this project, of the Maasai widows, and to evaluate what CEFEC can do for these and other projects, probably. So please apply yourself to this trip, also because we are able to pay 400 euros per person to the members who will come with us in Tanzania next year. In Senegal, Felicitas Kresimov started last year a project for the development of an IT laboratory for young Senegalese people with the aim to creating work, creating a cooperative, and preventing the people of West Africa from emigrating and risking their lives on a journey to Europe that is dramatic for so many of them. Last but not least, I didn't know where we are now with the changes of CEFEC statute, but I hope it is clear now how important it can be for CEFEC to start in this sector in international cooperation, because it is not only in Europe that we have to develop and support cooperatives, but worldwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Umberto. And I want to tell you that this cooperation across Europe, organized by CEFEC, it's not just for first time now, it's for first time in Africa. But looking to the archive, together with Meto, with our colleague Meto, we found that in 1995 up to 2000, we had cooperation directly with the United States. And we had the cooperation, and we still have right now with Japan. So we are really happy for, and thank you for valuable work that you are doing to bring us on the Africa and also to try to solve locally the problem. And I think the social economy model is the proper one to keep people locally and try to develop their local habits. Now we are going to Patrizia Bussi. She studied business management in Turin, and I think Patrizia right now is with her children from Turin, and welcome to you to our conference. She has a large experience on social cooperative in Italy, but also now she's the director of the European Network of Social Integration Enterprise, ENSI, representing social enterprises and especially more than 3,200 org integration social enterprises across Europe. ENSI right now has 26 members in 19 EU countries, plus Serbia and Moldavia. Since 2012, Patricia, she's a member of the European Commission Expert Group on Social Business, GECES, member of the Working Group on the role of clusters and similar forms of business cooperation. Thank you, Patricia, to accept the invitation, to accept the test on Zoom before this meeting. Now you have the floor.
Thank you very much to all of you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, more. And thank you especially to Vasile and also Felicitas the person who I was in contact for this invitation, and also to Mrs. President Christiana, to welcome ENSI in your Zoom conference. It's a pleasure to be with you. We know that you are strong actors for what we all believe too, so for the integration of disadvantaged and disabled groups. So I will share with you a short presentation of ENSI, and then I will be ready for question if anyone has someone. So I'm just waiting for the presentation. Okay, I think that's fine. So as Vasile already sent you, ENSI is a network of national and regional network of work integration social enterprises. It was founded in 2001, and you have already had the data by Vasile concerning our member and our representative countries. I think it's important to well define what the member of ENSI is identify themselves as a WISES, so as a work integration social enterprise. A work integration social enterprise is an enterprise that works for the professional and social integration of especially disadvantaged groups. So especially people coming from long-term unemployment, coming from a problematic group with addiction problem, with the social problems. At the same time, we are really talking about enterprises, so about economic operator that decide to sell services and product in order to have a turnover, and then to have at the end of the year a turnover higher than the cost in order to be always sustainable. And then the last point of the WISES is the pedagogical dimension. Pedagogical dimension, that is the dimension that allow the integration enterprises to train the people on the job. So the first training and the training that try to develop the basic skill for this person, but also some we have seen that in some countries the work integration social enterprise work more than this and try to help the person to become again a participative person in the society and to be more active. So it's a pedagogical dimension that work more than just on the training and on the job, but that work really on the people, on the person. What are the strategic objectives of ENSI that were decided in 2017 by the General Assembly of ENSI? There are in specific two big priorities. These are main priority. The first one is the lobbying and representation activity, especially linked to the work of the European institution. So there is a monitoring work concerning the EU legislation that can in some way touch and present problem for the WISES, as for example the general block exemption regulation, that is the regulation about the state aid, the regulation that concern the VAT, the value added tax, and so on. Then we have the promotion of the as you have called the model of integration, of work integration in the economic and social policies at European level, trying to develop a EU framework for WISES that is appropriated for all type of WISES in Europe, and organize and participate in European conference, seminar, and group of experts. The second priority is trying to supporting the member with the lobbying activity for the member in the country, promoting the exchange, reinforcing communication, and monitor national and regional needs. Which are the area in which ENSI is more concentrated? we can say in general the area concerning the support and development of work integration social enterprise, so legal framework, financial support, legal constraint, again the de minimis framework and the GBR regulation, then all the management concerning the human resource and the management of the activity. Then we have the access to the market, that can be an access to the public market, and so the public procurement, but that can also be an access to the private market, and so we can have a strong partnership with the private enterprise, the so-called corporate social responsibility. Then we have an area in digitalization and new technologies. In particular, we are developing a platform of tool, so of software that can be in particular used by work integration social enterprise. And we have also some specific training for WISEs and a MOOC that prepare the WISEs, in particular manager or director, to social marketing and financing. And I will for sure share with all of you the address of the platform, because I think it's a really interesting platform. Then we have another focus area that is really linked to the target group of the WISEs we represent. So we have some specific project and work for the migrants. We have had a specific work on long-term unemployment, also because the Commission sort out last year with a communication on long-term unemployment. And then we follow also all not all, but we try to follow the young, some projects linked to the young people, and especially young people in problem. Then we have an area that concerns the social and economic impact measurement of work integration social enterprise. One concerning the skill and the education, of 3 targets. One are the disadvantaged group, one are the person that work with disadvantaged groups, so I'm thinking to the job coacher, to the tutor and so on, and one to the director and manager of the enterprise. And then we have this other important, very important area, that is the one concerning the European semester. The European semester is the legislative and consultative process used by the European Union to communicate with the member state. And there is a sort of coming up and down of messages between the Commission and the national member. Then here we have some challenges that we are encountering in our daily work within NC. I don't know if I'm late, I have to be shorter, Vasi? Yes, so I go faster. Then in this challenge, I think you already know them because you are part of the sector. So you know that there is a lack of knowledge, especially when there is no model or the national member, the national authority has not fixed a model for work integration social enterprise. Then we have national burden, if administrative burden, if we want to respect all the conditions and the report needed in order to be a WISEs. Then we have the lack of EU policy, about EU policy information, and so the important role of the European semester. And then I think it could be good to close my presentation were reached in 2019. First of all, the work integration social enterprise was recognized as a sector, an economic sector, by the Commission, and in fact, a very big call for proposal was launched about the work integration social enterprise as a sector, and is the sectorial blueprint that is studying the need to develop skill in this sector. Then we have the EBSCO conclusion. The EBSCO is the meeting in which the Minister of Social Affairs and Labor Employment met, and during the last one in Luxembourg, in 2019, there was the recognition of the inclusive labor market. Then we have the renewal of the social economy intergroup in the European Parliament. And I think one of the big achievements was also that France arrived through the European semester process to integrate the WISEs in the national reform, and the fact that Commissioner Schmidt was nominated by the President of the Commission to prepare an action plan for social economy to enhance social innovation for the end of 2021. And this will be really a very good opportunity for WISEs, but for all the social economy actors in order to be heard and to put concrete measures for the development and the support of the sector. Last thing that I think is very important, we are working also with CEFEC, Social Forum Europe, in order to publish in these days a communication, a statement addressed to the European institution president and the chief of government about the problem that the virus that is now in Europe, and you have talked before, is causing to the WISEs and to the all form of economic operator that have inclusive and supportive employment, and underlining the fact that the people we are working with are people that normally have problem and need our support, and more than ever now they need our support, but we are together doing this. Thank you very much for the presentation, for the possibility you have given me. And if you want to contact me, here you have my contact, and then Vasi has my contact, and anyway we are in contact and we work together to build a more social Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patricia, and that is true that we are planning to make these joining activities to support this this important issue in Europe. And thank you very much to be part of this. And we have the chance to meet several times during the year. So thank you again to Enzi, and thank you to Patricia. The next one is also a part of another network that we have worked close on the last year. I'm talking about Ermute Claire Morselli, which is the Deputy Secretary General of REVS. REVS is the European Network of Cities and Regions for Social Economy. Ermute has expertise and strong lobby at the EU Commission and the EU Intergroups, expert and speaker within the European Economic and Social Committee. Ermute, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vasi. Yeah, I will just try to get my presentation on. Do you see it?
No. If you want, we can.
No. Okay. So sorry. I just probably I didn't go on share.
We can put the presentation.
Wait. Now it should come. It should come now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now it's coming. Good.
Okay. So thank you very much, Vasi, Felicitas, Christiane, Klaus, all the CEFEC social firms for inviting us, giving us the opportunity to take part in this meeting, and congratulations for this really very short-term capacity to organize it, just in a few days. So yeah, happy to be with you. Who are we actually? REVS is a network of cities and regions, but also social economy organizations at local and regional level that was founded in 1996, and with the aim actually to explore the wealth of relations that can exist between the two partners. So local and regional authorities on one hand, cities and regions, and social economy on the other hand. I should maybe add that yeah, among our social economy members, we have WISEs, so also social cooperatives, social integration enterprises, but also other type of social economy enterprises and organizations. So, as I said, it is this partnership between local authorities and social economy that is of importance for our network, because we think it's a really important couple, which has a lot of things in common, actually, or should have a lot of things in common, with this really this search for actually yeah, these common objectives that link the social, ecological, cultural, and economic sphere, and that put, or should put, I say because it's not always the case, the human being really at the center of all the actions, of all the initiatives. And actually what we try to explore as a network is really this relationship, but also the relationship between these two actors and other kind of players within local communities, always with this objective to see how to promote cooperation in a general interest perspective, and also how to promote local democracy, but then also democracy at European level. We have different kind of activities. The first one actually is more exchange of knowledge, experiences, and know-how. So through different kind of seminars, webinars, conferences, etc. You see some examples. So we're working on challenges defined jointly by our members, migration, integration, the digital economy as well. So cooperative platforms, for example, is a topic which we're exploring more and more. And yeah, a number of different projects, but also working groups have been set up recently. Also, again, I have to say, a working group on local or regional frameworks, legal frameworks, promoting the social economy, for instance. A second type of activities we are carrying out, our members actually found that sharing experiences is not enough, but we should really go further and try to use what also you're using in CEFEC, these relationships, this pooling of joint knowledge in order to develop, to experiment actually, so to develop joint solutions to different kind of problems. So here, this experimentation is actually a second objective and type of activity RAF is carrying out. And then finally, we have dialogue with European and national policy makers. I was not so happy you said lobbying expert, because first of this, I maybe should say that lobbying, as you call it, we prefer to say dialogue, is 1/3 of our activities, of the activities REF is carrying out. And we do it very much in cooperation with other kind of organizations, such as Social Economy Europe, of which also NZ is part. Also the European Parliament Social Economy Intergroup, which was mentioned already by Patricia. Then also cooperation with some expert groups of the European Commission, such as GESES, mentioned by Patricia already, or a specific working group on the cohesion funds, actually European structural and investment funds. And I think it is here where we also think that a lot of possibilities of cooperation between our organizations are possible and should be stepped up, should be enhanced, especially now in this period. I've mentioned some topics that are coming up actually now, like the already mentioned action plan for the social economy, or the European Action Plan for the implementation of the European Social Pillar, or Pillar of Social Rights, which is the correct title. Then European cohesion policy, negotiations are still going on, and we have to actually raise our voice, still raise our voice and put pressure, not only in Brussels, but in particular also on national governments, because let's not forget that much of the decisions taken here in Brussels are finally taken by national governments. So we have to still, I think, increase our capacities to jointly put pressure on them and to exchange information as well, because this is what is often missing, information. And even the Commission is actually complaining that I just share some information or some experiences we have in the framework of this expert group on cohesion policy. They're actually not getting information anymore on what is going on in many of the member states at national level. So this is where networks and where cooperation is really important. And then public procurement, the revision of state aid rules, such as was announced by the European Commission. These are all really topics we can work together. I think we can raise our voice together. We can support our positions, joint positions, also the one you just mentioned, you were about to develop together with ENSI, and we will be happy to support it. And yeah, let's not forget, I think it's really time now, beyond working on these very specific topics and policies, to raise our voice and become stronger in pushing for a change, because yeah, we also feel this crisis we're experiencing now is an opportunity, but there are also many fearing that afterwards we will go back to where we have been before. And before, we still heard, despite the willingness of many policymakers, for example, to promote social economy much more. However, it will still be done, or it was supposed still to be done, in a system which actually is more geared towards maximization of profits instead of putting people really at the center, and a system where one talks more about the needs of industries instead of about the needs of people, a system in which we talk about, think of the European skills agenda, about adapting skills of people to the needs of industries, instead of recognizing that every person in our society has capacities and has a great potential, and it's actually a pity to lose this, and a pity to lose this, especially when we're supposed to kind of find a way out of the crisis that has started now. And I think social economy, and especially social enterprises, work integration enterprises, are best placed to point to this potential of every kind of person, even those that are perceived, and often it's not the right approach, and it's false, as the weakest, which is not the case. So yeah, let's really try to create strong alliances and to shout, but also not to fight, not to take up the war terminology that is now used by some of the political leaders. Let's push for change, and let's push for cooperation.
Thank you very much, Mute, for the nice words, especially on the end, full of emotion and full of sense. I just want to mention that we're going to meet this year in November for Social and Economic Summit that will be happening in Germany, in Mannheim, I think, if I'm not wrong, on 26th and 27th November, as we been last year together on Strasbourg for the social economic capital, social economy, capital of social economy. And of course, we will be very close together in June when we want to cooperate for the next year conference in France. So we are totally with you and with the strategy that already reps bring on dialogue. Let's change the let's change the lobby to dialogue. It's good because it really has to be a dialogue, as you mentioned. Before to give the floor to Christiane to introduce the next speaker, I want to mention about Arn. Arn's fun. When it's Arn, I think.
Yeah. I can call him again. Yeah.
Yes. Arn is one of our heroes in social economy, and within BAG, Inclusive Enterprise, he really did a wonderful job so many years on supporting CEFEC. Besides his husband of Christiane, of our president, he's also excellent writer of best example. But I think Christiane or Atina will make,
yes, Arn.
Yes, Arn, I thank you to attend the conference. I think mostly of them you've been participating.
So I'm very happy that you started, in spite of all the difficulties, this conference, and it's very, very interesting. I'm very impressed. Yes, all the best to you all.
Thank you very much, Arn, to be part of this 34th conference that supposed to be organized face-to-face in Dortmund, Germany, but we together succeed to do it anyway.
Yeah, no, I said thank you. No.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now I want to give you, Christiane, the floor to present one of our founders, a very important member of CEFEC, which faced many crises, I can say, on the last years. Our Dr. Atina Fanguli, please.
Yeah. And just to say just one sentence, when we founded the whole thing with others, of course, in 1987, we would have never thought that we would go right through all these years. I mean, there were ups and downs. And then I think we will be prepared for the crisis very well, because I think we've overcome other crises before. Okay, now I want to introduce a founding member of CEFEC. Athena, where are you? We'll come in a minute. And I'm very happy, you know, that we worked side by side for more than 30 years. This is you and Bob Grove and others, and we are still there, and we have all this intergenerational cooperation, you know, between the ones who founded it and then now the next generation, I'm very happy that we have all these generations. Well, I mean, several times you organized the CEFEC conference yourselves in Athens and elsewhere, and you've been a very faithful member also of the European Disability Fund. And now I shall give you the word.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank Christiane and for having all this opportunity, Vasile and Alina and Klaus and Claudia and everyone. And I'm really telling you that I miss you, and I would have liked to be in Dortmund, but never mind. Everything is a challenge for us, and we will go the next step. Alina, can you help me with presenting my PowerPoint?
Yes, you come immediately to PowerPoint. Okay.
Okay. I started by showing you the motto of EDF, which is nothing about us without us. And there is no more a radical epitome of inclusion with this motto that EDF has believes in it. This motto guided EDF all the years of existence and characterizes its determination on fighting on the human rights that persons with disability have to freely speak and represent themselves within all the EU institutions and in all fields of disability. It is a continuous fight against prejudice, discrimination, and stigma. The challenge we always win is that EDF works proactively. It promotes equal opportunities and protects human rights to shift from the medical model of disability to the recognition of the human rights of people with disabilities. Its official status was gained in 1996 with 15 national platforms of people with disabilities and their families and 70 NGOs. Today, EDF is defending the interest of 80 million Europeans with disabilities. From the beginning, EDF gained the close cooperation of the European Parliament, in particular, the Disability Intergroup. In the new decade, EDF is invited through the international cooperation to cherish its influence globally. For example, it cooperates with the International Disability Alliance, with the African Disability Forum, with the Arab Organization of Persons with Disabilities, the Asian Disability Forum, the Pacific Disability Forum, and the Latin American Network of Non-Governmental Organizations of Persons with Disabilities and their families. Strategically, EDF every year works and plans with the Parliament, the European Parliament, produces letters to the leaders of the political groups, meetings with the Parliament members, key rapporteurs, participants at hearings, and lobbying, and all these presentations that they are doing and we are doing in the Parliament. Mainly, one thing that I admire at EDF is the efficiency of the outcomes. For example, in every board meeting, we finish, let's say, Sunday noontime approximately, and the resolutions and our decisions and papers on a consultative ground reach the Parliament within around 2 days. The other level is the European Commission, which usually is by lobbying and playing the role of the interlocutor with the commissioners. For example, we work on the sustainable development in the work of the European Green Deal, assistive technologies, accessibility to EU funds, mainstream the social Europe by including the youth guarantee, the fair minimum wages, the unemployment insurance scheme, social protection, and many other issues. The other field is democracy, gender equality, aging, inclusion of people with disabilities in the local, national, and regional community. And other actions as well, as for example, migration, protection of health, security of Europe, Oviedo Protocol, community-based services, independent living of the disabled people. Always seen from the disability point of view. The other opponent is C, which is the Council of Europe, which is an international organization which is separate from the EU, within the aim to uphold human rights, democracy, and rule of law in Europe, and not only. And this is an issue that makes cooperation very difficult with the Council of Europe. For example, the draft additional protocol to the Oviedo Convention finds EDF opposite since 2014, because the protocol supports coercive treatment and placement of persons with disabilities, in other words, individuals with psychosocial problems. But EDF finds allies in the Parliament Assembly, which at the same time that the Council of Europe supports that, the Parliament anonymously adopted a resolution on ending coercion in mental health care. Despite the above fact, the DH Bio Committee, which is part of the Council of Europe, will conduct a study on good practice in mental health care to end coercion. EDF really gives a fight in order to support and protect all this reality. Now, EDF is very good in implementing and monitoring. How does it do it? It has the executive committee. It has the boarding committee. It has the General Assembly. And it has created committees, Women's Committee, Youth Committee, CRPD Committee, Social Policy Committee, and many others, and a very qualified and capable secretariat, 10 in numbers, with a very skillful director. They work in an organizational culture that supports capacity building seminars, quality of operations of structures and processes, producing toolkits, position papers, supporting the articles of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, representing EDF in key meetings. The Secretariat represents EDF in many meetings that European Union is having, with members of the Parliament, with the European organizations and stakeholders. That's why at Social Firms Europe CEFEC in 2017-2018, as a leader of the working group number 6, collaboration with EDF, I proposed the following methodology. Each Social Firms Europe CEFEC Executive Committee member to get in contact with their national disability organization and the country NGO member of EDF in order to establish a communication channel and be part of the local national disability and co-act accordingly at this level, especially on employment issues with the model of social firms, social cooperatives, social enterprises. Being the person of reference representing Social Firms Europe CEFEC at the EDF Board Committee, this methodology will facilitate the interchange of information between the two organizations, EDF and CEFEC, the establishment of our cooperation and the share of our know-how on issues of social economy for EDF members, which each EDF is in much need as the percentage of unemployment in disability population is, and I have the figures here, an average only 48.1% of persons with disabilities in the European Union are employed, compared to the 73.9% among the general population. Women with disabilities and persons with heavy support needs are shown to have an even lower employment rates. These are the figures from Eurostat. And this is the real message that I really wanted to tell you today, that working together for inclusion, for Social Firms Europe CEFEC and EDF and its partners all around in Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Atina. Thank you for the intervention. I don't know, Christiane, do you want to say something?
For so long, and focusing again on the main things just in your PowerPoint sort of brought back to me what large area EDF has been covering, even to other continents, you know. So in the closing words, I mean, I shall be very impressed that we go from the ground floor up to the worldwide networks. Yeah, but
I just want to say that before the closing and the close words, we want to show you the film, CEFEC film. It was planned to do it on the beginning, but then we said, let's see how many of our participants online resist. I want to tell you right now that we are 35 on Zoom and about 13 on Facebook. So we are about 50 people participating directly to the conference. So please, your notes, run the CEFEC film. Before collecting the questions, if exist, and the closing words.
Jota.
Since 1987, a few creative professionals from the psychiatric field. From Germany, Greece, Spain, Belgium, Austria, decided to set up a network based on Franco-Brazalia experience. Confederation of European Firms Employment Initiatives and Cooperatives. Since 1987 we organized 33 conferences among 29 cities from 17 European countries with the participation of 5,000 professionals and people with disabilities. Promoting the human rights, right to learn and work, thinking for the future, work for legislation, lobby and advocacy, supporting EU crisis, sharing the model with the East. From social integration to social inclusion, creative jobs, supporting EU social pillars. We are the first network of social firms across Europe. We are a strong European network with 48 members from 23 countries supporting social inclusion of people with disabilities and of vulnerable groups. We promote the model of social firms and social cooperatives, collecting data and evidence, networking and sharing of best practices, sharing skills and expertise, research into the social firm model, inter-trading opportunities, social firm set-up advice, a voice in negotiations with EU structures, cooperation in the framework of EU funds.
So I hope you enjoyed the film. We tried to make it shorter, but it is a good film and it's still valid with our members and the countries. Before to give the floor to Cristiane for the closing words, I just want to mention that everybody which are participating now, I will need the help from the notes for the scroll. So we have Mute, Graham, Cristiane, Claudio, Arn, Astrid, Chris Hack, Dr. Andrea Raab, Dominic from Poland. We have Felicitas from Italy, Yuka from Finland, going down. Meto, Leif, Mikiko from Japan, Leif from Sweden, Patricia from Sweden, Moritza from Japan, Patrizia Bussi from Italy, Paulo Mendes from Portugal. Hi, Paulo. Ulrich from Germany. Greece are with us. Claudia Rustic. Thank you, Claudia. Petra Palokova, one of our students that we are meeting every year on the PAC annual conference. Ulla from Sweden. There are some people that we don't know them and they have a very unreadable names, but it looks that we have like 3 or 4 people from Japan. So Uta, Deutschlander, Roland, thank you very much. Umberto, we already mentioned. I think that's all that somebody that Gerald Schwartz, thank you from Israel.
Oh,
wow,
gosh.
it's amazing to have you here. A lot of friends, it looks, friends of CEFEC, but also quite a good number of German, Alberto Stenikovic here also. And thank you for your support, Alberto. Claudio, our technician, which is based in another building in order to make proper this. We have now several messages, but more of them are not questions, are congratulations for this initiative and for this really successful. We are here since 1987. Every year we try to keep together at least 2 or 3 days in different countries and support our members across Europe. We are ready on these days to use the technology facilities in order to support our network movement, to transfer of best practices, and to cooperate directly when it's possible. This year, it is a special year that will make us to reflect more about our work, to bring more creativity and digitalization within our daily work, and be more aware about how this crisis affects our members' activity. We are ready to be solidary with you, dear colleagues and participants, with those from the front line. And I mentioned Alina, Cristiane, Felicitas, me, all technical support we have here, and also our 15 members from executive are ready to communicate with you on this very not pleasant moment. Thank you again to Alina for all preparation, agenda and emails. Thank you to Ionut for all technical arrangements and to Claudio for backup. Thank you to you to be part of this movement and solidarity with social economy movement in Europe. Of course, these are not the closing words because as our tradition, our president will have the closing words. Conclusion and closing words, Cristiane, please.
Thank you very much. It's really bewildering and also enthusiastic to have had this conference, but I'm still I'm still confused by the crisis and what we can learn, you know. We have an old founding member who no longer lives, who is Douglas Bennett, a great social psychiatrist from England, founded CEFEC, and he would say at that moment, we are still confused, but on a much higher level. And he always quoted that when we have had a lot of input like today, but we can't sort of pinpoint, and I couldn't do that now, what we could have learned, what we could sort of get, what would be to be transported to the future. And I think when Felicitas said, you know, it's now a time to think and have time at home to meditate over this, I think we should use that and see at the other end what we can benefit. I mean, we know we've benefited from this marvelous technique, and I think it has helped me especially, but others too, that we are not totally frustrated and say everything cancelled, that's the end. No, we've used the PowerPoints, which we would have seen in Dortmund too, and we have seen the people live, which does make a great difference through this technique. And I'm still impressed. I've always been impressed. When CEFEC was started, we thought of the ground floor of the social firms to look at them, see what they produce and with the services. And I think Roland, Richard and Daniel gave good examples that we could really sort of visualize, that's the firm, you know, on the ground floor. And then on top of this, we have all sorts of layers of networking from local, regional, national to Europe and even to international, like Umberto told us. And it always sort of confuses me a bit, but CEFEC seems to be reaching all these stories of skyscraper perhaps, and I think in the next day or in this year we will have to see what can we do with our restrictions. I think we can network very well because we've always used techniques for this, but we would also like to be on the ground floor too, you know, and sooner or later really go and see each other and go and see social firms and what the fair would have done. You know, I'm still a bit sad, you know, because I'm a practitioner, you know, and I'm looking forward to see you all physically and see where we can meet after the corona. For the moment, thank you very much. And Vasi?
Yes, thank you very much, Christiane. We receive a question and I want to answer to Petra, to this friend of CEFEC that we know. If due to the coronavirus, are many enterprises across Europe in danger? Do you have some current information about the effect of corona to the social firms in Europe? Very good question. And I know we discussed with Athena yesterday that we're gonna circulate this question among to our members to find out about this impact what coronavirus will have. And as we heard from ENSI, from initiative of Patrizia Bussi, we will be a part of a policy paper that will be sent to European Commission related to the aware of the danger that this coronavirus bring our social businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to give just 1 minute the floor to Andrea Rav from Caritas to say a few words because we are part of a wonderful project which will be presented on the next hour with the General Assembly meeting. And it's a DG for social enterprise. And look at Andrea, our project really create effects because we are using digital to support each other on this crisis. We never thought this when we wrote the project. Andrea?
So I'm not prepared at least, but I will say that I'm very thankful that this conference started, that you made it possible that we meet in this way. I think our project will go on. My colleague Ulrich has sent you an email that it is prolonged a little bit so that we can go on working further. We we do not have to finish it this year, but it can go on next year. And I think this is a great chance.
Yeah. Greetings also, thank you, Andrea. Greetings also to Alison Blaney from Ireland, that she attended the conference. There are others members that are watching on Facebook, and now I will not nominate all of them, but thank you to everybody for your time, for your participation today here with us.